Well, what a setting here in the iconic Seven Stadium in Dubai. It's an absolute pleasure to play here. The players will be taking on their wares this weekend. And most importantly, we've got to talk about the Olympic qualification. Every single point counts, as the top 4 at the end of the year automatically qualify for the Holy Grail, the Olympics. And that means it has to be imperative that squads are competitive and also consistent throughout the year. And what I want to do is focus on 2 teams in particular. One at the top with South Africa, using their most ever amount of players with 28, and conversely the USA, the least amount of players they have used in the last 3 years with 20. So back with the trusty iPad, we're going to look at the 2 teams, as mentioned, USA and South Africa, but importantly about the strength of depth within a squad. Now, Sevens is all about the balance of a squad. If you lose a speedster early doors, as USA did, it's so important to have someone who can step up. And let's have a look at some clips that signify this. USA's tactic is to get the ball wide quickly. Players passing and receiving. Danny Barrett, so often noted for taking the ball forward, this time just checks, gets the ball out to this man. Because when Perry Baker's got the ball at the end of the line, look how devastating he is. 36 kilometres per hour down the outside of McConaughey, who's no slouch himself. Baker scores it and celebrates with all the passion that he often does. Unfortunately, Perry Baker, World Player of the Year, wasn't available all season, but they've got an apt replacement in Carlin Isles. Similar tactic, again turnover ball, against Kenya this time, one simple goal. The 6 players on the pitch get the ball to Isles. This time, Natua, with a big gap in front of him, doesn't want to engage the line. His sole job here is to get the ball to Isles. Faced with Nelson Oyo, himself a speedster, Isles does not hesitate in going round the outside. How good is that? Well, it's one thing losing Perry Baker and replacing with Carlin Isles, a blessing of talent from the USA and speedsters pivotal in the game of sevens. But what happens if you can't have the playmakers in the middle? Perhaps injury or form dictates you have to look for other players, and that's where South Africa's strength in depth really does come to the fore. They've used the most amount of players ever last season, but their quality in being able to bring in not just the second string, but also potentially the third string of halfbacks shows how good they can be right across the board. So let's take a look at set-piece play. First off, Hedo and Speckman, the 2 playmakers. They spot the space in behind, and wonderful timing and effort with a chip, gets the perfect bounce. Speckman diving over to score shows their ability as playmakers to understand each other as well as the rest of the team. And the quality being usually Branko de Pree and Cecil Africa as the key stars of the South African team. If it's not Hedo and Speckman, they can call upon the next generation. This is frightening level of depth and quality. The next clip shows a very similar situation, and this time Human spots the space in behind, and his lieutenant Davids picks the ball up, similar well-weighted kick, he scores to show how good they were in Hong Kong. It really is one of these years where consistency is key right across the board. The fact that South Africa used their most amount of players ever last year and their quality of each level is significant and will count for that all-important qualification come the end of the year.